Have you ever wondered who were the first inhabitants of Taiwan before the Han Chinese arrived? The history of this island nation starts much earlier, with human activity dating back 20 to 30,000 years. These early settlers were not the Han Chinese we often associate with Taiwan, but a group of people known as the Austronesians. These were seafaring people who ventured across the vast Pacific Ocean, deciding to call Taiwan their home. Over time, they established communities and developed unique cultures, which would lay the foundation of Taiwan's diverse cultural landscape. They were skilled in the art of boat building and navigation, traits that are still celebrated in Taiwanese culture today. Their languages, beliefs, and traditions have greatly influenced the island's cultural fabric. These early inhabitants, known as the Austronesians, set the stage for the unique blend of cultures that would eventually shape Taiwan. So who were these Austronesians and where did they come from? A question that has intrigued historians for ages. The Austronesians, a group of people with a shared linguistic heritage, originated from the southeastern coast of mainland Asia around 5,000 years ago. They embarked on an unprecedented journey, migrating to the island we now know as Taiwan. Possessing remarkable seafaring skills, the Austronesians were not your typical explorers. They were skilled navigators, capable of traversing the vast expanses of the Pacific and Indian Oceans. They harnessed the power of the wind and the currents, charting routes to the farthest corners of the oceanic world. From Taiwan, they voyaged further, reaching as far as Madagascar in the west, Rapa Nui in the east, and Aotearoa, or New Zealand, in the south. They spread across an oceanic domain stretching over half the globe, leaving their mark on numerous island cultures. But it wasn't just their navigational prowess that set the Austronesians apart. It was their language too. Austronesian languages form one of the world's largest language families, encompassing over 1,200 distinct languages. From the voice of a Hawaiian chant to the rhythm of a Maori haka, from the cadence of a Balinese gamelan to the melodies of a Tahitian dance, the linguistic legacy of the Austronesians echoes across the Pacific and Indian Oceans. Their language has seeped into the fabric of many cultures, influencing their traditions, their arts, and their ways of life. Yet, as the Austronesians ventured further afield, a significant portion of them decided to stay put, to make Taiwan their home. They cultivated the land, developed distinct cultures, and laid the foundation for the diverse tribes that would flourish on the island. These people were the forebears of the indigenous tribes of Taiwan, their stories interwoven with the land, their heritage echoing in the mountain valleys and along the coastal plains. While the Austronesians spread far and wide, a significant portion remained in Taiwan, forming the basis of the indigenous tribes. With the passage of time, these early Austronesians in Taiwan evolved into unique tribes. Among these were the Atayal, Bunun, Paiwan, and Rukai tribes, each with their own distinct cultural practices, languages, and lifestyles. Firstly, the Atayal tribe, known as the Mountain People, were renowned for their prowess in weaving and tattooing. Their intricate weaving patterns were not merely decorative, but held deep cultural significance, embodying their beliefs, stories, and traditions. The facial tattoos, received after proving their worth as hunters or weavers, were regarded as a passport to the afterlife. Next, we have the Bunun tribe, the highland dwellers, who were famed for their harmonic polyphonic music. An integral part of their community rituals, these songs were a testament to their close-knit communal life. The Bunun were also skilled hunters, mastering the art of archery, and their hunting rituals were an essential part of their cultural identity. Then there's the Paiwan tribe, the southern coastal settlers, distinguished for their remarkable craftsmanship in pottery and stone carving. The Paiwan were also known for their hierarchical society, with status and rank depicted through intricate designs on their pottery and stone slabs. Their unique snake motif, a symbol of nobility, became a defining element of their culture. Finally, the Rukai tribe, the stone-dwelling people, were esteemed for their stone houses, built to withstand the elements. The Rukai society was divided into classes, and their brightly colored clothing, adorned with shells and glass beads, indicated one's status within the tribe. Each of these tribes had their unique languages, adding to the rich linguistic tapestry of Taiwan. Despite their differences, they all shared a deep respect for nature and the land, which was reflected in their sustainable living practices and spiritual beliefs. These tribes, each with their distinct identity, lived and thrived in Taiwan for thousands of years. Their legacy continues to shape the cultural landscape of Taiwan, reminding us of the nation's rich and diverse heritage. But then, in the 17th century, the tranquility of the indigenous tribes was disrupted by newcomers from across the sea. The Europeans set foot on the shores of Taiwan, a land they knew little about in the early 1600s. The Dutch were the first to arrive, followed shortly by the Spanish. These were explorers, merchants, and missionaries, each with their own motives and intentions. But all were part of a larger movement of European exploration and expansion, driven by a desire for wealth, power, and religious conversion. The Dutch established Fort Zeelandia in what is now Tainan, setting up a base for their East India Company. They sought to control the trade in the region, particularly in deer hides, a commodity highly sought after in Japan and China. The indigenous tribes, skilled hunters, were suddenly drawn into a global trading network, their lives irrevocably changed by the demands of distant markets. But the Dutch didn't just bring trade to Taiwan, they also brought Christianity. Missionaries accompanying the traders sought to convert the indigenous tribes to their faith. They built churches, established schools, and translated the Bible into local languages. The introduction of Christianity brought profound change, altering the spiritual landscape of the indigenous tribes. Meanwhile, the Spanish, who established themselves in the north of Taiwan, were also keen on spreading Christianity. They built the forts San Domingo and San Salvador, which served as outposts for their missionary work. The European era in Taiwan was brief. The Dutch were expelled by Koxinga, a Ming loyalist, in 1662, and the Spanish had already left by then. But their influence was long-lasting. They had introduced new economic practices, new religious beliefs, and new ways of engaging with the world. The indigenous tribes of Taiwan, who had lived in relative isolation for centuries, found themselves at the crossroads of global currents. They adapted, resisted, and negotiated these changes in their own ways, crafting a unique blend of old and new that continues to shape their identities today. The European influence, though brief, left a lasting impact on the indigenous tribes of Taiwan. As we approach the end of our journey through early Taiwan, it's important to understand how these indigenous tribes set the stage for modern Taiwan. The indigenous tribes of Taiwan, with their vibrant cultures, distinct languages, and unique lifestyles, have left indelible marks on the island's society. These tribes, in their myriad forms, have sowed the seeds for the cultural richness that characterizes Taiwan today. The indigenous tribes, each with their own unique language, have contributed significantly to the linguistic diversity of Taiwan. Today, Taiwan recognizes over 20 indigenous languages, many of which are still spoken in various communities, keeping alive the linguistic legacy of these early inhabitants. These languages, with their unique sounds and structures, enrich the linguistic tapestry of Taiwan and contribute to its cultural diversity. Moreover, the tribes' cultures, evident in their music, dance, and art, have also shaped Taiwan's cultural landscape. The haunting melodies of indigenous songs, the rhythmic dances that tell stories of old, and the vibrant art that adorns various facets of Taiwanese life, all bear testament to the cultural influence of these tribes. Their lifestyle, too, has had a profound impact. The indigenous tribes' deep respect for nature, their sustainable living practices, and their community-centric way of life have all influenced modern Taiwanese society. These values are reflected in Taiwan's commitment to environmental sustainability, its emphasis on community and social harmony, and its respect for cultural diversity. In recent years, there has been a resurgence of interest in these indigenous cultures. Efforts to preserve and promote these cultures are ongoing, with initiatives aimed at revitalizing indigenous languages, preserving traditional art forms, and promoting indigenous cultural heritage. As we look at modern Taiwan, we see a society that is a blend of indigenous and imported cultures. a society that values its history, cherishes its diversity, and recognizes the contribution of its indigenous tribes to its unique identity. Even today, the echoes of these early tribes can be seen and felt in Taiwan, reminding us of the rich tapestry of cultures that form this unique island. So, what do we take away from our exploration of early Taiwan and its indigenous tribes? Our journey has taken us from the mysteries of the unknown origins to the compelling narrative of the Austronesian migration. We've witnessed the emergence of the indigenous tribes, each with its unique culture and traditions. We've seen the impact of European arrival, marking a significant shift in Taiwan's history, and we've traced the events that served as a precursor to modern Taiwan. But beyond the historical facts and events, we've gleaned the importance of these early tribes. Their stories, their struggles, their triumphs, they are all interwoven into Taiwan's rich tapestry of history. They remind us of the vital role each culture plays in shaping a nation's identity. Preserving and understanding this past is crucial. It's not just about honoring the legacy of these indigenous tribes, but also about recognizing their influence on today's Taiwan. As we peel back the layers of Taiwan's history, we discover a rich and diverse past that continues to shape its present and future.